Yes.
Mr. Francie?
Yep.
Ms. Kane?
Here.
Mayor Nolan is absent this evening. First item we have is the consent agenda.
Which one?
I'm sorry, which one, Chris?
107.
107
114-107.
premises, extended premises.
I'm not sure what this is about.
It's for a town one day annual.
Single mile instead of parking lot.
Okay, that's fine.
Anybody else have anything they want removed or to talk about?
When we get to the vote, my name will be on there.
Okay.
I'm gonna write that down.
Okay,
Okay, offered by Ms. Kane,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Redmond. Ms. Ryan?
Yes, consent items and supplemental.
Yes.
I'll second that. Yes.
Yes. I'll second it.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I think Mr. Francie had offered to serve, and he didn't, to my knowledge, get any response back from the clerk's office. I'm going to direct you to the clerk.
For the Monmouth County Planning Board, for their master plan.
R14.
So we have two spots, right? We have Mr. Francie.
Mr. Francie and Barbara showed an interest, and Barbara showed an interest. So,
Are we carrying this or are we going to?
what do we want to do?
Well, at this point, I want to make sure I accept the first meeting, so I think we need to move on something.
What is the first
I
meeting?
think Carla would get invited under
Anyway.
Why don't you take both of them?
part of it the last time.
Have both of them go.
Yes.
Take both of them.
They specifically request two individuals only, just so you know.
Right, but if there's, someone can't make it,
Yeah, let them both go.
So we'll make
We'll
one
change
of
the
them
law
alternate.
like everybody else does.
That would be which one, Mrs. Braswell or Angie?
Well, it's daytime meetings, Carla, so I don't know if you can get off. We don't know that.
Put Barbara
I
down.
would put Barbara in, and Carla, you really, should be able to get an invitation.
Would someone offer that?
I'll offer it.
Offered by Mr. Redmond. Second by Ms. Kane. Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Francie?
Yep.
Ms. King? Resolution R 14-111, this is a resolution appointing Barry Leeser as C2 licensed operator for our top lift stations.
So moved.
Offered by Mr. Francie,
I'll second it.
seconded by Ms. Kane. Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Francie?
Yep.
Ms. King?
Yes.
We have a proclamation for a public health week.
I'll make that, offer.
Offered by Ms. Ryan,
I'll second it.
seconded by Ms. Kane. Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Francie?
Yep.
Ms. King?
Yes.
And we also have a proclamation for Francesco's Pizzeria for their 30th anniversary that they recently celebrated. If someone wants to offer that.
I'll offer it.
Offered by Ms. Kane,
I'll second that.
seconded by Ms. Ryan. Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Francie?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
You have the proclamations for those?
We did the
Well, we did the
proclamation at
celebration
the
on the
celebration on the 30th.
Okay, and, okay, just want to make sure that it.
The mayor and I did that on Sunday.
Moving on to ordinances.
Karen, I think we're gonna put a new ordinance in there.
Yes. We'll do that. I have one other introducing tonight, which is 11. I'll make this new one 12,
Oh, okay. Okay.
right?
Yes.
I didn't know how you wanted to do that.
All right, on for introduction and setting of a public hearing date of April 16th is ordinance entitled Ordinance of the Borough of Highlands in the County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, providing for a special emergency appropriation in an amount not to exceed $100,000 to fund the preparation of the master plan.
I'll go ahead and move the public hearing date.
Offered by Ms. Kane,
I'll second it.
seconded by Ms. Ryan. Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Can we have discussion
Sure.
before we vote? I'm not sure why we're doing this, Mr. Pfeffer. At this point, the planning board's recommendation was that we wouldn't start this master plan review until September, until after the Rutgers study is done, after the FEMA study is done.
What we do is break,
Uh,
appropriate
And
budget.
at this point,
Well,
someone has suggested that maybe, if we're going ahead with this, that we include the revision of the municipal ordinances as part of this plan, because what happens with these master plans is we then follow through with the ordinances revisions, the land use revisions to comply with the master plan. We end up doing that later. Later never happens, and we end up having a master plan goal and a zoning change that doesn't reflect that. And at this point, you know, Dale is doing his best, and Paul is doing the best in terms of bringing up to date on ordinances that we have to do relative to the floodplain, but relative to the land use, we probably should do it for the first time altogether, and I don't have an estimate on that number. I don't know if 100 grand is enough, all right? And I know it's, I'm not sure why it's a special emergency, because we have time. So I'm not sure why we're doing this, and Steve, you would have to be best to answer.
At the last meeting, we had an extensive discussion of this master plan update. And at the council's request, I was authorized to draft this special emergency. And special emergency is just the terminology that's used by the state in order to pay this back over 5 years. To draft this master plan, and we agreed at $100,000. And we basically said, we'll put it in place so the money's there and we can start as soon as we're ready to go and there won't be any holdups. As to the codification, that would be a separate special emergency, which you could also authorize. You know, you can have me have that drawn up if that's what you want. You can do that at any point in time, you know, along this process. That's up to you, and you said you weren't sure what it was going to cost, so we can wait, you know, until you get some further cost estimates on that, but we can do another special emergency. There is another caveat for codification under the statute. So that's doable. It's the first time, though, tonight is the first time I'm hearing that you are mentioning
Yeah.
codification.
No, I agree. these ideas are getting germinated, and we get a chance to talk
Well,
about them at the meeting.
there's no reason why that can't be done, and that can be done in correlation with this master plan. But at the last meeting, the council did direct me to have this prepared for tonight.
All right,
So, that's what it did. It's on
Okay.
for tonight, and it just puts the money in place. And we had talked about, like, we won't, when it gets spent is at the direction of the council, because you appoint the professionals.
you say it puts the money in place. Where does the money come from?
We borrow it.
We
As
borrow.
a part of, once the ordinance, on the night that the ordinance is adopted, there'll be a resolution authorizing the issuance of a special emergency note. And that's where the 5-year provision comes in. The note gets paid off over 5 years.
And that's good, but do we need, I mean, at this point, it looks like there's gonna be a gap of 4 months between needing to spend the money.
Right, well, okay, I thought okay, maybe we didn't discuss how the process takes place. The issuance of the note can be timed to when you want to actually spend the money. So all this will do is just speed up the process a little, so everything's already in place, and then you can pull the trigger when you're ready.
That sounds good. Okay. I will end of discussion and we can continue the vote.
Okay, Mr. Francie?
Yes,
Ms. Kane?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Yeah. It'd be O-14-12, an ordinance amending Chapter 9, Water and Sewer to incorporate additional rules and regulations of the now dissolved HHRSA as a result of the borough's assumption of the sewerage authority. Basically, what this does is at the request of Dave Palmera, he requested that the borough adopt certain regulations that they had into our borough code. So that's all this ordinance does. So in effect, for the public, it's not going to change anything that they already have. It's just changing the rules from the authority's rules to our rules. Yeah.
I'll move that.
Offered by Ms. Kane,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Redmond, and we're setting the public hearing date for the 16th. Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Mr. Francie?
Yes.
Ms. Kane?
Yes.
Moving on to committee reports, we're still on finance.
Mr. Pfeffer?
Yes. I wanted to go over a little bit on the budget process. We're going to have the public hearing on the budget at the next meeting. And at the point of introduction, assuming that there was no changes, we would be adopting at the next meeting, which, from my standpoint, worked in that you would have it adopted before I retired, and it would be in place for Pat when he comes on, and I can update the computer system prior to him coming on. There have been some changes, and I want to explain the process a little bit. The budget goes for review at the Division of Local Government Services. They send back their comments, and those comments determine whether or not there might be an amendment from their standpoint. 3 things have occurred since we introduced the budget that total about $38.5 in our favor. Okay? Originally, I was going to say to you, it's up to you. The division is not mandating an amendment. There are 2 of the changes concern the pension plan, the 2 different pension plans. One concerns a little bit of additional revenue from an amount we had to estimate at the time because we did not have the physical check. So at that point, I was going to say to the council, if the division had no changes to the budget, then these amendments or these potential changes in the budget would be up to the council whether they wanted to move forward with them. If we amend the budget, we might possibly have to amend, unless we had a special meeting, past the date of my retirement, okay? And I'm just bringing that up just because I started the process, and I would think that you guys would want me to finish that process. So I'll bring that up. However, after discussions we've had on certain issues with the dissolution and melding that system into our system, we may be forced to amend anyway on the sewer budget, in which case we may need to wait to work that out. However, if that gets worked out prior to the 16th, it is possible that would be a floor amendment, which means we would not need to re-advertise and we could amend at the table, depending on the dollar amount. It's the dollar amounts that key whether or not we need a full-blown amendment or we just need a table amendment. I'm not sure where that's going to go at this point as to what type of amendment's going to be necessary. If we amend at a full-blown amendment, we have to have a 3-day waiting period from publication to the special meeting. Or you can amend and have it at the next meeting in May. That would be up to the council. I would like to see it carried through myself. Me personally would like to get it done while I'm still here so that, we move on from there. But this will be up to the council. So where we sit right now, we have not had comments come back yet from the state. We have approximately 38,500 in our favor that would reduce the budget. And we are still awaiting the situation on the sewer budget. So I guess really until we get a little further along on the sewer side, we're kind of in a wait and see period. And we also have to wait for the state to weigh in on the budget review. But I just wanted to explain the process of where we're going and basically throw this out to you to think about what we might want to do by the next meeting. And if it's decided we want to just go straight forward with the budget at that point in time on the 16th, then that's an option to the council. If we clear the state, then you are free to do that, or you're free to amend. But I wanted to let you know what some of the processes that could take place at this point in time. But the state is not mandating an amendment be done for the pensions. That's my report for tonight.
And also, we did receive an email from the mayor today that he was going to hold a finance committee meeting on April 14th at 8 o'clock. And I don't know, Carol, did he ask you to?
Notices went out and the budget went out to the, to public members.
Okay.
And that was, Mr. McFadden and Ms. Peterson.
Public safety?
Public safety, I submitted my report. Anybody have any questions or comments, can give me a call during the day, anytime. The only other thing I'd like to thank Bob Farrell from Fire Hooks Unlimited, who owns a house on Shrewsbury Avenue. He helped us out with some storage in the police cars. He manufactures fire equipment, and he did help us out and donate some equipment. So let's thank him.
He's very beneficial on the fire side too.
Yes.
And, it doesn't really ever come out much to even, you never really see him, so he's just an all around nice guy. Okay, administration, Tim?
Okay, I'll try to be brief. I'll go through this quite expeditiously at the direction of the council. Irene house lifting is underway. Mr. Wordsman did report that homeowners are moving forward. They've been in touch with him. A couple homeowners have had some concerns. They have contacted me, and I followed up with Lee directly. So the process is started for those Irene house lifts. I want to be